Hello, my spooky loves, and welcome to another spooky season deck flip, our final spooky season deck flip. We are doing the Horror Tarot. There's a few decks called the Horror Tarot, but this is the one illustrated by the incomparable Abigail Larson, who also illustrated the Darkwood Tarot, which you know I loved. So I'm going to do my best to not lose myself too much in this deck. The artwork, as I'm sure you can anticipate, is fantastic. This deck is inspired pretty much by everything that frightens us, whether it be outside of us or within our own mind. It's very gothic, very dark, not afraid to go into darker, slightly more violent concepts. It's a beautiful deck, but very, very dark. And I think it is perfect to finish this series of spooky season deck flips. So this is the box. It's from Insight Editions. Some of the art on the sides. And it is illustrated by Abigail Larson and written by Aria, Gmitter, please forgive me, and Minerva Siegel. The inside of the box is really cute, in a horror kind of way. So this is the book. It's a pretty typical standard tarot book. It is full color awesomeness, a page for each card. However, I don't know if anyone else has this with their book. My book doesn't have page numbers, so it renders the table of contents somewhat useless. I have to flip to find what I'm looking for, but beautiful art, as you will see. It gives you a description of the card and then an upright and reversed meaning. Very awesome. Very cool. Very, very horror themed. Let's dive in. Coffee. I love you guys for putting up with my coffee habit, and why I chose to make it a part of all my videos, I don't know. We'll see if that continues. All right, lovey loves, let's start. Here is the back. Very simple, little bit of cobwebs in the corners. I like the pointed corners. Very beautiful, very elegant, but dark, grimy, gritty, horror. Love it. I'll try not to catch too much glare so you guys can see, because the colors in this deck are fantastic. The pops of red especially I love. So let's get started. I'm going to try my best not to get insanely deep with every card so that we can make this video not ridiculously long. Here is our first card, the Fool. You see she's bloodied, looks like she's already escaping something. The beginning of her journey begins in fear, as is the theme of this deck. These are a nice matte card, but they do tend to stick together. I put them all back in order for this video, and they're sticking together like crazy. The Magician, the Mad Scientist. He is resourceful and cunning. I love these tentacles coming out of his pocket and the shape of the skull. He's concocting something dark. Love this. The entire concept of this deck is really lovely in that dark horror kind of way. I love this High Priestess. I love her face. I love her dress. I love her little familiar demon. Her scroll of knowledge, as is tradition. This card is so great. The Empress. She is the mother, and she is birthing this eldritch horror coming out of her. Amazing. So amazing. This deck, one thing it does very well is it takes the traditional meaning of the cards, but makes sure that you're aware that they don't always go in a positive direction. When the Empress comes up, you also have to face the consequences of what you have created. She is creation, but creation isn't always, let's say, benevolent. I love this Emperor card. He is also very cunning, very sure of himself, very ambitious and determined. The Hierophant is this nun embracing the darkness. Amazing twist on this card. There is a dark side to the Hierophant. A lover of rules. Sometimes they bend. Sometimes they become too rigid. This leaves a lot to the imagination. The Lovers. I love this card. Them together in this passionate embrace, but the woman sees this darkness dwelling just behind them on the edge of their happiness. Beautiful cards. The Chariot. I love this. This reminds me of the movie Van Helsing. Whether you stay or go, the choice is yours, but there's no going back. This is an interesting interpretation of the Strength card. The idea behind this one being that when this card comes up, you should pay attention to who's around you and what they're willing to do to get what they want. Which is interesting because the Strength card traditionally is, fearlessness. So it's not telling you to be afraid, just be a little cautious. This Jack the Ripper looking character. And we have the Hermit with this awesome creepy cottage in the woods. And this idea that the hermit is not alone. There is peace in the solitude. This card is creepy, but peaceful. Peaceful in a creepy kind of way. And we have the Wheel of Fortune, Fate, Destiny. I believe it was a carnival wheel in the Zombie Tarot as well. It sort of suggests this idea of life being a game of chance and you never know where it's going to stop, where it's going to land. We can't know our destiny. Maybe we can, but this card suggests that we're just going to see what comes when it comes. Justice, blindfolded always, balancing the scales, and this dagger in hand. The Hanged Man. The Hanged Man in this deck suggesting that there are consequences for the choices made, and we cannot struggle to get away from them because it will just make things worse. Interesting. Death, beautiful. Abigail Larson does these amazing scythes that transition into a new state of being, into a new life. Death welcomes her. This is an interesting Temperance card. Instead of representing patience, she sinks to the bottom of the lake, lost in her thoughts, caught in indecision. She finds herself sort of stagnant, a deep, dark pause. Beautiful. Now this isn't my favorite devil card, but it's alright, it's pretty cool. It's the King of Spiders, which takes some getting used to for me because I tend to associate spiders with the feminine, so I try to remember that in this deck it is indicated that this is the King of Spiders, waiting for something to be tempted into his web so that he may devour it. And we have the Tower. Now, if anyone watching has this deck, I would be curious to know what number is your Tower card? Because mine is 21, which is the number for the world. In the book, it is numbered correctly. It's supposed to be card 16, but it's 21. I tried to Google it, and I didn't find anything on this deck being misprinted. I'm curious. Let me know in the comments if your Tower card from the Horror Tarot is numbered incorrectly. I think it's interesting from an intuitive perspective to see when I pull this card just how much does it jump out at me that it's numbered as the world. Because to me, with the Tower meaning destruction and crumbling of old structures and weak foundations, having the number for the world almost intensifies the essence of the ending that this card represents. I hope that makes sense. Very cool, creepy, gothic, dark awesomeness. I love this little gargoyle. The Star, trust in the unseen. In this case, it is represented by a Ouija board. To me, the Star card is hope, but that's because it depends on your interpretation of faith in the unseen. Faith in the unseen can manifest as hope, or maybe it manifests as reaching out to the other side for guidance. Beautiful. I also love the suggestion that this is ruby glass. Just beautiful. Anytime I find some in a vintage or antique shop, I cannot resist. Now, not so surprisingly, the Moon card in this deck is represented by the werewolf. It's about, illusions and deceptions. The illusion that he is a man, but he is more. He is a monster. Very beautifully done, too. I mean, maybe I'm generalizing, but I've seen a lot of ugly werewolf art, or werewolves, represented as being these, hideous creatures, and I think this one's actually very interesting. Personal opinion. Let go. There we go. The Sun. So this one is interesting as well because you see this creepy ass clown and wonder, how is this the Sun card? But clowns bring joy. But this card also, in this interpretation of this deck, suggests that you may be wearing a mask for the wrong reasons. You may be wearing a mask and not admitting it. Are you sacrificing real joy in the face of fake joy? Okay, now I'm diving into my own ideas, but Super creepy. Super creepy. Look at that shit. Creepy. Creepy. And once again, the Judgment card is taking us to the graveyard. Zombies. I love this tree. I love a good creepy tree. This world card I am actually kind of obsessed with. Please stay. I'm obsessed with this world card. Look at this. Eldritch terror just engulfing the earth. It's like you survive to the end, but to what avail? What awaits us at the end? I initially thought this was going to be numbered 16, like maybe they just accidentally swapped with the tower, but no, 21. This is a very, very cool card, artistically, thematically. This card can really get under your skin in a reading if you let it. So that is our major arcana. So now we're going to move into the minor arcana. And what's interesting about this deck is the minor arcana is in a slightly different order than you would traditionally find. In this deck, the minor arcana goes king, queen, knight, page, and then ace to 10. I don't know why they made that decision, but that's how we're going to read it. And it starts with the swords. Now, in this deck, the swords represent insight, fear, paranoia. So they get into your head a little bit, but this is our King of Swords. He makes decisions and they are pretty final. Here is the stunning Queen of Swords, receiving this clearly enchanted necklace from these red hands. Demon, devil, lover, who knows? But she's so beautiful. So, so gorgeous. Abigail Larson, you queen. Love this. All right, try not to linger too long on each one. So Knight of Swords, we have this awesome gargoyle standing guard, protecting. Gargoyles are symbols of protection. The Page of Swords, this sort of zombie nobleman. Very creepy, very cool. And then after doing the reverse court cards, we get into the numbers. So here's our Ace of Swords. So swords having to do with the mind and intellect and our thoughts and our thought patterns. And this deck is like, well, that includes insights, but also paranoia, what frightens us. New beginnings can be scary. Very cool. Two of Swords. It's crossed daggers below the moon. Choices. Three of Swords. Pretty typical Three of Swords card, but we've put the heart on a plate, in a bowl, a dish, if you will. Four of Swords, the card of rest, and you see this stunning vampire climbing into her coffin, or climbing out. I mean, the context of your reading will dictate how you determine if she's getting in or getting out. Is she going to ground to rest, or is she awakening from her rest? Five of Swords, beautiful card. We have this raven coming in and stealing the swords. This is a conflict of the mind. Very interesting, all the blood in the snow. Six of Swords, this little hanging heart, lantern, light, whatever this is, reminds me of the Used. I'm sure it reminded someone else of the Used. But we have this reaper, this almost Charon figure moving through the waters calmly. On his route, he knows his way. This card kind of makes me giggle. I don't know why I find this image hilarious, but you've got this little Reaper guy coming in and collecting swords. I don't know if he's stuck them in his own back for safekeeping, so he doesn't have to carry as many, but I just think it's a neat, fun interpretation. Seven of Swords being about, deception and thievery, betrayal. Is he stabbing himself in the back? Who knows? Eight of Swords, that traditional image of the woman trapped or believing she's trapped. The swords aren't actually touching her. She could get out of there. But what I like about it, what's a little bit different about this one, is that she's holding this dagger representing the eighth sword so she can cut her binds and get out. This deck is probably the first one I've ever seen that actually gives the power back to the figure to get herself out, which I find very, very cool. Nine of Swords, anxiety. This is definitely where our paranoia can come in. And the Ten of Swords, the end of it all. Now, this card I do find with this Ten of Swords, I'm going to try not to get too deep, but you can interpret quite a lot from this because the swords show that they seem to have been the end of this figure, but this figure's also been there long enough to completely decompose and leave behind only the bones, suggesting old wounds. Perhaps the soul moved on, carried on, has potentially evolved into something else. It seems to suggest that you may not be in rock bottom any longer, though you were for quite some time. Interesting. So, following swords, we actually move into pentacles, which in this deck are represented by monsters. So the King of Pentacles looking very formidable indeed, this almost creepy, cryptid, dark figure over this poor girl. And then we have our Queen of Pentacles, this creepy old crone, haggy sort of figure. I love the mushrooms growing up the side of this wooden basin she's sitting in. It's very contemplative, very cool. Love the broomstick. Fun, fun, fun. Knight of Pentacles. Now, considering pentacles are represented by monsters, we have this one contained. Page of Pentacles. We have this figure sleeping in the bed while these monsters under the bed start to creep out. I love this, sort of coming out and creeping up the bedding. This is a very cool card. Definitely scary and an homage to the monsters under the bed. Now we start seeing some actual pentacles. Here's our Ace of Pentacles with the severed hand. I love the pentacle. Very creepy, very cool. Two of Pentacles. I like this card. I like this. Do you choose to go? Do you choose to stay? This sort of suggestion of a pact, bonding. Love it. Three of Pentacles has almost this nod to the Blair Witch with these symbols hanging from the trees. Very cool. And the Four of Pentacles represented by a spider's web. Very unique. I love this Five of Pentacles card, not only because it's just beautiful, but it sort of is a nod to that traditional Five of Pentacles being the church's window. It doesn't show the figures suffering outside, but you still get this kind of forbidding feeling of being on the outside. Love this. Beautiful. And I'm just a sucker for a good diamond pane. Now we have the Six of Pentacles and this Baphomet figure, which I find interesting because when Abigail Larson illustrated the Darkwood Tarot, the Six of Pentacles was the devil. And here we have Baphomet, who is not the devil, though considered a satanic figure, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. But this is awesome. Beautiful. I love this card so much. As above, so below, that balance. Seven of Pentacles. I find it kind of awesome that these are headstones because Seven of Pentacles, of course, is about patience and waiting for your seeds to grow. Like, are we waiting for the undead to rise? This is just neat. It's a neat concept. And the Eight of Pentacles cut into the bark of the tree, like the tree is bleeding. This is a very creepy image for, like, in a very subtle way. I love this. Now we're gonna get real creepy with this Nine of Pentacles. Now, believe it or not, this card does pull on that traditional meaning of pride in oneself and living a comfortable, beautiful life that you're happy with. But a happy life just doesn't look the same for all of us. Very cool. Very, very creepy. And the Ten of Pentacles. The whole fam jam is together. I'm just assuming the coffins are all full. But I think this is a fun concept of the Ten of Pens. That sense of having all you need. So then we move on to the Wands, which represent supernatural possessed beings. Or rather, supernatural possessed beings represent the Wands. And in this case, this King of Wands is this Phantom of the Opera character. And the Queen of Wands. Now, she may be a vampire, but in her white gown and the blood streaming from her eyes, she always reminds me of Morgan from the TV show Camelot. She's played by Ava Green, who is, of course, just an absolute queen in and of herself. That's who she usually reminds me of. But I love this card. She's so hauntingly beautiful. She looks tired, but like sated. I don't know. I love this card. Queen of Wands. I love that Queen of Wands energy. You guys know that. Knight of Wands is the Mummy. He's on his way. I think this is fun. He's determined. Not even death will keep him from his adventure. I find it funny because wands are, you know, action, fire. He's still going. He's still going. I love it. I think it's fun. And we have our little Page of Wands, this almost corpse bride kind of idea with these bugs and the spider. But the size of the spider and the centipede sort of suggest that she's quite small. And also, if you pay attention, the background is like a cushion. And then this is sort of like the back of a chair or a couch or a settee. So it's also suggesting she might be a doll, a creepy little doll. Now, the ace. I love this Ace of Wands. This is awesome. Of course, Abigail Larson and her fantastic hands, but I love this candlestick. This is an awesome card. I love this Two of Wands card. Her hair sort of making horns as she looks into her crystal ball, and I love that it's on like little chicken feet. It's awesome. I like the little chicken feet on the frame of the card as well. It's got this sort of like nod to Baba Yaga. Love that. I love this card. This image is amazing. This is so awesome. So beautiful. And the Three of Wands. This old sort of crone-like figure. I feel like she's almost beckoning and taunting us to the next leg of our journey. And again, I hear that thing in my head saying, there's no turning back. This is what you wanted. Let's go. Very cool. And we have the Four of Wands, the sense of stability and home, and these two finding peace together, like Beauty and the Beast sort of thing, but a little more devilish, shall we say. And we have the Five of Wands, all of these different species, these different figures, different vibes coming together in this sense of conflict. This is actually the card that I pulled for my newsletter's collective card reading for the month of October. So if you're not signed up for the Corvus Call, I do pull a card every month for readers. Very cool. I like that it's accentuating that the conflict of the Five of Wands is often different perspectives on the same thing. Everybody thinks their way is the right way, the best way. And it creates unneeded, unnecessary conflict, but you can choose not to engage. This is a cool one. The Six of Wands and this super creepy, almost thestral looking merry-go-round with this creepy little figure. She looks like Samara. Very cool. Creepy carnivals. Just can't go wrong. Seven of Wands. This is, you know, defending yourself. I love this sort of lighting in this card. It's a bit like a trail cam, or again, that old Blair Witch sort of feeling. Being ready to defend yourself against whatever jumps out of the darkness at you. Love this. And the Eight of Wands, movement. We have this sort of Mothman figure with wings because he's flying, travel, removal of obstacles. Don't have many obstacles when you can just fly. Nine of Wands. We have this like almost Japanese horror figure. Exhausted, but don't give up. And the Ten of Wands. I really like this card because it's like an altar. Got the bones and the scroll and the chalice. The representation of the horned god. Awesome card. So that is Wands. Last but not least, we have Cups, which are represented, according to the deck, by emotionally driven figures who basically let their anger get the best of them. So here's our King of Cups, and he is awesome. Very scary, very creepy. I love these red tentacles, this dragon, and the goblin. Just, there's a lot going on in this card. It's almost like a creepy dead merman. It's just awesome. Very cool. The art is incredible in this deck, but I expect nothing less from Miss Larson. Here's our Queen of Cups. She is fantastic. Blood everywhere, enjoying her spoils, pleasure, joy, indulgence even. And the Knight of Cups, we have the Headless Horseman, which is awesome. I was really pumped to see him represented in this deck. I just think he's a very cool figure, and I just love the movie Sleepy Hollow. I want Katrina's black and white dress. It is so amazing. Anyway, Page of Cups. We have a little creepy, demonic Jack-in-the-Box. So creepy. And then we move into our Ace through 10. I love this Ace of Cups. I love a lot of Abigail Larson's Ace cards because they involve her awesome hands. But I also just love the feeling and the vibe. It's almost, maybe it's just because I have a very visual mind and a very active imagination. Like, I can imagine the movement in this card, the action taking place. I can hear the drops falling. I don't know. I'm a very visual tarot reader, and stunning art just speaks to me. This is awesome. So beautiful. And our Two of Cups. They have shared their blood meal together, and now they're just cuddling in the coffin. I love this card. Does this not, for a card full of blood, seem incredibly cozy? I like it. He looks like the Emperor card, which you can choose to connect should both come up in your reading. Three of Cups, a nice traditional celebratory Three of Cups card. I like this. All the different, the vampire, the demon. This could be a werewolf. We don't know, but they're having a good time. Four of Cups. Four of Cups is usually, like boredom and stagnation. So this is neat that it's all just sitting on a serving tray, which to me has always sort of interpreted as you can choose to take it or not, which can go both ways. You can choose to sit in melancholy or not, or you can choose to step out of the melancholy by accepting a cup. Up to you. And Five of Cups, our card of grieving and loss. And you have this Nosferatu figure who may be regretting his own actions as blood drips from his claws. That is definitely a lesson of the Five of Cups that we don't touch on often. Are you responsible for your own grief and suffering? It's not just about taking responsibility to get yourself out. It's accountability if you got yourself in. Six of Cups, which is, innocence and nostalgia. And we have this creepy, possessed little crotch goblin. I'm sorry. Child. A creepy little child. I like the lilies coming out of the cups. It still represents innocence. Perhaps innocence lost, which is where the nostalgia comes in, right? This is a fantastic Seven of Cups card. I like the Seven of Cups in general, but this is just great. Choices, choices, choices. Beautiful card. The Eight of Cups. We have the figure going up the mountain in contemplation. It's a little bit soul searching, And I love these little creepy hands kind of coming after her, but she's more focused on her task and the moon, seeking to know herself. The moon for me is always intuition, seeking to know her own inner world. Almost done. Nine of Cups. This is the wish-fulfilled dreaming. We have this figure pouring from one cup into the others, which I love to interpret as fulfilling our own wishes and fulfilling our own dreams. Fill your own cup. Don't wait for someone else to ride in and do it for you. Take control of your dreams or your nightmares, and you decide if it is time. I like it. I like it a lot. And finally, another awesome card. The Ten of Cups. Blood pouring. I think this is a grand interpretation of the Ten of Cups, which is, the ultimate happy ending. And what could be more fulfilling and happy ending-ish for a vampire than this level of indulgence? Living fearlessly, not wondering where your next meal is coming from. This is abundance. This is definitely abundance for a vampire. I think this is wonderful. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And these shredded curtains remind me of Beauty and the Beast. Side note. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I hope you loved it, my darlings. That is the Horror Tarot. That was our last deck. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I'm super pumped to be done this series because life and scheduling did not work out, and I crammed all of these videos into like a week. Please do not expect that kind of video consistency from me going forward. But I was really determined to get this done before Halloween to showcase all my spooky decks that I use during spooky season for tarot readings for my clients. So if you book a reading with me before November November 1st at midnight. I might extend it to November 2nd at midnight just because I love spooky season. I might extend it longer. I don't know. Check my website. It will indicate how long spooky season readings shall continue. My readings themselves don't change, just the deck options. So I should say spooky reading deck options. So, as always, I'm going to shuffle these bad boys up and we are going to do a card pull for everybody watching. It's my way of saying thanks for being here, my creepy little corvids. Ooh, we have a jumper this time, kids. Let's put this here. We haven't had that before. I love jumpers. In all of my readings, jumping cards hold special significance because, in my opinion, that is the unseen saying, this one, don't skip this one. So what do we have? We have the Page of Wands, the creepy little doll. All right, kids, let's see what the book says. So this is the page for the Page of Wands, and she's upright. Bring this in a little closer so you guys can have a look while I'm reading this. Page of Wands. Danger can come in unsuspecting packages, so be careful who or what you trust. Everyone loves good news, and the Page of Wands represents an innocent soul that delivers a positive message. The creepy little doll loves you. So bringing some positivity with it, as creepy as it is. I mean, her look on her face is pleasant. She doesn't mind the spiders and the bugs. And a friend is a friend, right? Loyalty, companionship. Not everybody needs to understand your relationship, as long as it brings you comfort and joy. That's what I'm getting anyway. But it also was reminding me a bit of the creepy doll in the television show Salem. That I'm not going to spoil anything actually, because I think everybody should watch that show. It's so great. But one character plants a creepy doll in the bedroom of another character to keep watch on her. And it's super creepy, but awesome. So with this card warning us to be careful who we trust because danger can come in all kinds of packages. It's also advising that an innocent soul will deliver good news. So, be careful who you trust. Let your instincts guide you. Trust your gut on whether or not this is friend or foe. This could represent somebody coming in at just the right time that you're unsure of, especially if it's a younger person or somebody who you might unintentionally judge as being a bit naive, because they may, whether or not they know it or not, have exactly what you need to hear right now. But also remember that the road to hell is often paved in good intentions, and somebody who's a bit louder, a bit less innocent, trying to push you to believe that they know what's best. That might be where the danger is. This card also to me speaks of childhood nostalgia. We confided in friends of our own making. And I feel like as adults, we forget how easy it can be to just go within, to sit in your own company, to find that guidance, to just sit where it's quiet. Sit among figures and creatures and things that you trust and come to the conclusion on your own. But know who to trust and who not to. If it seems sketch, it probably is. Sometimes sketchy helps. Sometimes we gotta take the sketchy road. But sketchy people is a whole different matter. Thank you for being here. Is this gonna stay? Probably not. Let's just turn it this way. Yeah. Okay, so thank you again so very much for being here, not just for this deck flip, but for this entire series. This was a lot of fun. I need to plan my time better, and that's not your guys' fault. I hope you enjoyed this series of deck flips as much as I did. This is a beautiful, creepy, gothic, dark deck. It's a lot of fun to use on Halloween night by yourself, I must say. Gets the skin crawling. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for being here, and I will see you guys in whatever video I choose to make next. Bye!
Oh, baby willows. We did it, baby girl. We're all done. We're all done.